Okay, hello. Hopefully the stream will not get cut short today, because up till about 10 minutes ago, there was no internet here for no fathomable reason, and I don't know if whatever issue made the internet go out is gone. So, we'll see, won't we? So anyway, yesterday I decided to do the setup for a challenge that I'm creating as I go along. Basically, I've tried it a couple times off stream, but as is usual, I've never ever finished any Sims challenge ever, even one that I've created myself, because I always get other ideas and want to go play a different household, which is part of what led to this challenge. As you can see, I've created 15 households, just enough to fit into Newcrest. And what we're going to do is we're going to play each household for exactly one sim week, but we're going to randomly select what household will be played, so we won't have to pick and choose and possibly play favorites. And they're all a little kooky because I didn't do very much editing at all. I just made them look not like they'd make your eyes bleed, at least. Just, you know, passable. But I can't edit them in game, and I probably will, knowing me. But I've created 15 households. Going to choose which one to play by using a random number generator. Random.org is an easy one to get to online. And I have one on my phone that I usually use, so I don't have to keep all tabbing. So anyway, you're going to use a random number generator to choose which household to play for each sim week. And during the course of that week, you will only be doing their whims. And of course, taking care of their needs, because if you don't, it's just stupid. So anyway, you're just going to be doing their whims. Now, the catch to this is you want to see how long these 15 original houses that you created will survive when they're at the mercy of Whims, just doing Whims, and also MC Command Center story progression. So MC Command Center is kind of required for this challenge, and I don't see how that should be a problem, because if you don't play this game with MC Command Center, you don't play this game. In my opinion, it's unplayable without MC Command Center, but hey, that's just me. Now, another mod that would probably be quite useful would be Kawaii Stacy's Life Decider, and also Sacrificial's Life's Tragedies, just to make it a little more difficult. But of course, Life's Tragedies only affects the active house, I believe. Unless it's a serial killer, then it could affect some of the NPCs, but that's pretty rare in my experience. But then again, I spend very little time at community lots when I'm playing. Now, that's the one trick, is it's all Whims, and you've got MC Command Center story progression. Now, the other reason MC Command Center is required for this, or at least another mod that, well, I would say MC Command Center is required because you need their story progression, because EA's story progression is a joke, shall we put it? But in MC Command Center, the 14 houses that you're not playing will still go on with their lives and keep on living. They can get divorced, they can have children, they can adopt children. They will still continue to have lives when you're not playing them. If you just use EA's story progression, basically all your town is going to grow up, get old, and die. They will never have kids. There will never be any new Sims moving into town. It'll just be a ghost town if you play in the same save for any amount of time. So you kind of need MC Command Center, just have real story progression, including story progression that affects your active houses. And also, MC Command Center covers this, or you can have another mod that does the same thing, but you have to have an option for autonomous risky woohoo, because that's the other part of this. The fact that you're only doing Whims, your couples are never going to have babies unless they do it through story progression or autonomously. And the whole point is to see which of your 15 houses will last the longest. It's sort of a bit of a legacy twist without all the BS, without being forced to have kids, without having to keep track of points and all that other stuff that has kept me from ever finishing the legacy challenge. So, You're going to need something that enables autonomous risky woohoo, like MC Command Center or Wicked Whims. And yes, I've got Wicked Whims streamer mode on, even though it looks utterly ridiculous when it kicks in. But it's just, I strive for realism in my game. What can I say? And it gives you a lot more than just what it's known for. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. So MC Command Center is definitely required. And like I said, Life Decider is very helpful because if they have a whim to start a new career, which probably won't happen as often since I used story mode to create every single one of them and use random number generator to choose their choices in story mode, which is what basically yesterday's entire stream was, creating these 30 Sims all via random number generator, choosing their answers for story mode. And this is what we got. I think we got like 5 occults out of 30 Sims, and we got 6 same-sex couples because I did not change the gender on any of the characters once I finished answering the story mode questions. And I'm just making sure the stream still looks okay because I've been getting a lot of stream errors. But yeah, I used a random number generator to answer all the questions. So we've got some crazies, definite crazies in here. But yes, MC Command Center is definitely required. Life Decider is helpful because, as I was saying, if they have a whim to start a new career, you'd sit there and have to decide. And the whole thing about this is all about randomness, autonomy, and whims. And if they just want to start a new career, and you're going to fulfill that whim, of course, if they get it, Life Decider has an option where you can just click on your sim, and it says, randomize so-and-so's career, and it'll give you some random career. So everything is about randomness and autonomy and whims, and seeing how far these households will survive, how many generations they could possibly get to on just randomness, autonomy, whims, story progression. Because when I play Sims, I like doing it like I'm watching a movie, and I never know what's going to happen, which is why I do the whims. Because I don't like sitting there and planning out every single second of their lives and exactly when they're going to have babies and how many babies they're going to have, because if I had to do that, they'd never have babies. Yeah, I am not a 100 baby challenger. I'm not an any baby challenger. But anyway, see, that's the thing. I like having new characters to play, but I don't like pimping out my Sims and saying, hey, you, go have a baby now. I don't do that. No. Now, the reason I have it set to autonomous risky woohoo is because then every time they do anything, there is only a 20% chance, which is higher than I usually play at, honestly. I used to always play at 15%, but there's only a 20% chance of a baby. And as you can see, there are some same-sex couples, and I do have same-sex pregnancy not allowed because of realism. However, if you have story progression on, they can still adopt children or have children outside of their marriage or whatever if you have MC Command Center story progression, which is another reason why it is kind of required. That just basically means that your same-sex couples won't have babies while you're playing them, but when you come into their house and start playing them for whatever week you get their number for, they could have kids that are adopted or born from extramarital affairs. Now, the only reason I have them all married is because one problem with MC Command Center story progression, and I never usually complain about anything with MC Command Center because it is the best mod ever invented, and Deadpool should be working for EA because he'd make a game a billion times more interesting than non-modded Sims. But the one problem I do have with MC Command Center is anytime you have young adults or older living in the same house and not married, it will almost immediately move them into separate houses. Now that can still happen with married couples if it breaks them up, which it can do. It'll give you reasons, though, why they break up. And things you do in the game can actually affect that. Like, if you go to a community lot and you see an NPC cheating on their spouse, it could very well come up in the next update of story progression. So-and-so broke up with so-and-so because of unfaithfulness, and so-and-so will be leaving the house. So stuff in story progression will be affected by stuff that actually happens in the game. But like I said, the one problem I have is if you do not marry them all, and I've been opposed to marriage all my life, I think it's a joke, but in this case I kind of have to marry them all, because if I don't, MC Command Center will immediately start moving them all into separate houses just because they're older than teen. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now that is just a really quick intro to how I'm hoping this will go. I don't actually know if that's how it will go, but that's why it's all about autonomy, randomness, and whims. And like I said, I've got 15 couples here, just because they fit into Newcrest nicely, and I don't have to worry about bulldozing any houses or any of that nonsense you'd have to do if you were in one of the other more interesting neighborhoods. Like, I think Windenburg's probably my favorite neighborhood, but I really don't want to have to go through and bulldoze a bunch of houses. So the first thing you're going to do, as we covered yesterday, you start a new save, make a random sum, move them in, go back to neighborhood, make your 15 couples, and randomize everything with RNG, keep whatever gender they give you. You can make them look at least passable, so they don't make your eyes bleed when you're playing them. And then once you've got them all made, you call up your handy dandy random number generator, which mine is closed currently because my phone wants me to charge it, so I turned off the extra background crap. So you go into your random number generator, pick 1 through 15. Now you could end up with more or less houses than 15 after the first couple runs through of story progression, but at the moment you have 15. And it's really easy to tell how many you have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Just count them when you're in my households. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And then you pick a number from 1 to whatever number of houses, which should be 15 ideally, but might change. And you pick your random number, and I got a 7, which means I'll be playing the 7th house. These girls right here, the India family. Yes, I used a bunch of military names because it was taking me forever to get the proper letter, because I'm putting them all alphabetically just so I can easily see them walking down the street and say, oh, that's one of mine, because they've got an alliterative name. Like, these are I something India, and like these ones are Hank Hotel and Hans Hotel, and they're just, I used a lot of military names. If I hit random name like 10 times and didn't get the right letter, I just used a military last name, which is like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, etc., and whatever first name popped into my head if I couldn't get one through random. So anyway, everything's random. Everything's random. So the India girls here, not Indigo girls, although anyway, the India girls here are going to be the lucky ones who get to live in the huge lot in Newcrest, which means they've got lots of space to expand, but they've got only 20,000, and it also means their bills are going to be higher. So we're going to move them in here, and I don't know what is going on, but for some reason it's cutting off my viewer count on Twitch for some reason, and I don't know why. Because normally I look over just to see. It's cutting it off for some reason. I don't know. Because normally it shows, like, even if there's nobody in chat, it'll show, like, the one viewer down at the bottom because of yourself, and I'm not seeing it for some reason. And it won't even let me scroll it down. I don't know. But then again, it's a stupid laptop, which doesn't have a real mouse, so I don't have the mouse wheel. Alright, anyway. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I can't see. So if anybody's here, unless you talk in chat, I probably won't know you're here, because for some reason it's not showing me my viewer count. I'm going to try refreshing, just because. I'll be refreshing plenty, I'm sure, because I get about 15,000 browser errors a day lately. So... okay, there we go. Now it's showing up. I don't know why it wasn't before. Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, India girls here, the India family, they're going to be living in this big, huge lot because their number came up first. And we're going to go ahead and move them in, and then do the stuff we got to quickly do to just set up all my mods when I get into the game. You'll see them all pop up on the screen. So you know what mods I have in the game. I have a lot of mods. I think I've got 15 folders with just mods in them. Like, some of those folders have multiple mods. Like, I have like 4 or 5 mods from Mod The Sims, and I've got a bunch from Loomis Sam. But anyway, that's another good one to have because it allows you to have miscarriages in the game, which is, again, it sucks, but it's realistic. Anyways, so this is where they're going to live. And wow, look at that. You can actually move them all in without it automatically loading you into the house, which I thought about doing. But I think I'll just wait. Now, one thing that's probably going to happen here is MC Command Center is probably going to move them all into separate houses. So when you roll their number, you may have to go into another neighborhood and retrieve them, yank them out of wherever MC Command Center moved them into, and then put them back in Newcrest. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I just think it would be easier to have all of the families in the same neighborhood. So again, they're going to have the biggest lot because their number got called first with random number generator, and they're not going to have natural babies, so it's going to be kind of a waste of space for the first week. Not that I really want babies at all, but the whole point of the game is seeing how long your 15 households can last. So anyway, let's go ahead and let me see what their names are now. Iman and Isabel. I'm going to get so confused because the only Iman I know of was David Bowie's wife, and this girl looks more like her than this girl does, so I'm probably going to get their names mixed up. I'm going to end up calling this one Isabella and this one Iman, but we'll try. Alright. Or the opposite way? I don't know. I don't get a lot of sleep. What can I say? So, now, I have to quickly set up my mods, which basically means selecting the settings for Whims, and also randomly generating the rest of their outfits, which I'm sure will all be horrible and will probably end up being changed, but that's another advantage to MC Command Center. You don't need a mirror, you don't need a dresser, you can change your entire household just by clicking on your sim. And there's the laugh out loud streamer mode, which looks utterly ridiculous when it kicks in. Okay, there's MC Command Center, basemental drugs. Alright, so I always silence the phone because that way it won't wake them up. You'll still get all your calls, but if you silence it, it won't wake them up every single time it rings. And if you don't silence it, it will wake them up every single time it rings, and it's really freaking annoying. I chose winter just because it's winter in real life where I live, so I always choose whatever season it is in real life, just so I don't have to decide. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is set up Wicked Whims because otherwise I'm going to forget about it. Alright. Settings control, import settings. That's DA, that just means dress after. And I usually only use that when my couple or whoever live in a house with other people. But I'm going to leave it on just for the sake of not watching them walk around in flesh-colored underwear all day, every day, which is what they would do otherwise. So anyway, that's set, and all the other settings are already set ahead of time. I leave all the settings the same, except for I occasionally change one or two, like the dress after setting,